Foundation, I encourage my younger female youth also to join the project such that they can see the change.
Amanya gange Katekesi Gafesi andi mulimi wa nnyaanya natandika okulima ennyaanya zino mwaka gwa 2018.
Our esteemed youth, the head of state, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has arrived amidst us and is going to start with a visit to the exhibition stalls erected by the youth, by yourselves. Once he finishes the inspection of the stall,
instead of walking on 4 legs or crawling on the ground like the snakes I saw there when we were coming. This frees your eyes to see far and your brain to think more. When a snake is in the grass, maneuvering around, doesn't have time to think. It is too busy negotiating through those obstacles. Now, finally, the human being has got a hand, this hand, engaro, which can hold tools and do work. It is these three characteristics that enabled man to understand the laws of nature. What they call science is really understanding the laws of nature. Gravity, wind, light, sound, and all those natural laws, and use them to solve man's problems. And it has been a long journey. About 1.5 million years ago, man was able to invent fire. This was a big revolution, invention of fire. Because before that, man didn't understand fire and couldn't use it. But when he invented fire, it helped him solve so many problems. Then learning the domestication of crops, knowing that instead of following crops in the bush, you can take some seeds and grow them in a controlled way. Then my tribe, the Wanyankore, many years ago, learned how to domesticate cows. Those cows were wild animals. We were able to tame them and domesticate them and use them. And so we are able to domesticate other animals, goats and so on. Then the iron, the invention of iron. This was a big achievement. Now, the problem of Africa is that somehow, in the last 600 years, the Africans have been asleep. They withdrew from inventing and they just sat and started using only what they knew. That's how a gap was created between us and especially the Europeans. And the Europeans used that gap to come and conquer us and cause problems for us here, and also for other parts of the world. It started with the invention of gunpowder. Gunpowder, those of you who have studied chemistry know what it is. Initially it was potassium nitrate mixed with some few other things, where you have these solids or powders in a confined space. Once you provoke them, they change from powder or solid to gas. And you who have studied physics, you know that the gas has the property of expansion. Gases expand. And when that one happens, that pressure is able to expel a solid, which we call a projectile, that can do bad things, can kill you. That's how the Chinese are the ones who invented gunpowder. But the ones who used it first were the Europeans. Now, by monopolizing that knowledge, they were able to come here from the time of, and the pressure for the Europeans started in 1453, when the Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople, what is now called Istanbul. The Turks blocked the Europeans from going to the east. There was an old route which had been discovered by a man called Marco Polo, which you fellows you should have heard about in your, maybe you were asleep, you didn't know, because you had your own way of life. But when these new people came, the Portuguese initially, coming with guns, this has been the problem of Africa and its leaders, especially in the last 400 years. The Africans have been asleep, especially their leaders. The story of the human race starts 4.5 million years ago. That is when man evolved from lower primates to what we came to call Homo sapiens sapien, meaning an intelligent man. Now, this Homo sapiens sapien has been the agent of development and transformation. Why? Because of three characteristics. First of all, unlike other animals, he has got a superior brain, a brain which has got more convolutions on the cortex of the brain. Therefore, able to think and reason instead of acting by instinct like the other animals. This is the first characteristic. The second one is bipedalism.
By the youth MPs led by Honorable Fiona Nyamutoro, the chairperson.